Alright, now that you have your part successfully loaded, we're going to pull up the Word doc. And the Word doc we're going to rename this with your name on it. So copy that. Change our name and put your name there. Don't worry about the A.1. It just intuitively puts that on there for Rev A, which is goofy. But so I've got that done. I've renamed it. Notice that we're going to create all of these. Oh, it's steps 1 through 9. Okay, so we're going to do steps 1 through 9. So we're going to create the 5 different bump surfaces in the same model. We're going to do steps 1 through 9 first. Okay, and these are, we're going to create the point, tangent, and curvature type bumps. So this is bump number 1 through 9. All right, so we are going to create another geometrical set and rename it. Change geometrical set number 2 to steps 1 through 9. I'm going to use underscore because we don't want any spaces. All right, and then what it says in the online doc. I'm going to follow this here, the V5 doc, which should be identical to the same document we had on the V5 document. So I'm going to click on this one. See, it says click the bump, select the surface to be deformed. Step 1, you're going to select morphing and select the bump. Click the element to be deformed, which is this surface. Then select the limit curve in the box. Okay, and then deform the center of the box. Okay, so let's just again, just a quick comparison. You see the first 4 steps are identical. So it said to find the bump feature, and you're going to click on that feature called the bump. And again, when you click on that and hit F1, it should give you the online documentation on how to do this. Now, what you want to do is follow this box. Just follow the order that it's asking you. The first thing on the top says element to deform. It has nothing selected, so I'm going to select this surface. That's join number 1. Now, what would be nice is if they showed me the box, what they were actually clicking on in here. That would have been a little more helpful. So I just did step 2, which is selecting this surface. Step 3 is the limit curve in the box, and step 4 is the center point. So let's try that. Let's go over here. Limit curve is this circle right here. So we're going to take this surface and only within the inside of that surface deform it from the center. So it's asking me to click a point. I'm going to click on that line up there and then click on this and just watch what happens when I hit preview. We don't see anything because my deform is the distance of 0. So let's change that to 1 and hit preview. See how it went up? So that's my center right here, the top point, which is step 5, I believe, and then element to deform. No, sorry. That's your step 5, your point, and then the distance. I just typed in a distance of 0.1. Sorry, step 4 was the point, which they're not showing. It's this point, and then this line. I hit preview just to show you. You can change your parameters, and then when you've got it to where you want, you can say OK. So if that's what I wanted, I can say OK. All right, and that is step 1 through 9. Now, just like anything, you can modify it in CATIA. So if I double click this, that's all. It's showing me what I've all got in there, and then I could just hit the up arrow and it will grow. I can hit the down arrow, and you can even go to a negative number and you'll see it grows off the bottom. Okay, so that was steps 1 through 9. Doing the bump, creating just a small little bump on that top surface with the limit of that circle right there. And that's what the online directions were trying to show you. So hopefully you learned something from that, and then you can try out some of the other things I did in the document. Let's go back. Here. So we just did steps 1 through 9. And now it says stretch the bump. So you see that steps 1 through 9 is in hide. So we're going to hide this. And the reason why I'm hiding that is so I can come back to this geometrical set and pull this back out of hide. Because what happened was when I created this surface, the bump was made from that joined surface. So the joined surface goes into hide, and the bump surface is now the new surface. So you're not changing the join. The join is still the join. What the bump is doing is taking the information it took to get to the join and adding a step to it. All right, so we're going to repeat the steps. Challenge yourself to see if you can repeat the steps and then stretch it. And that's going to be the name of the next module. Pause this video, give it a try. And then when you're done, go ahead and hit play again and see if you did the same thing I did. We'll do it a little faster next time. Okay, hopefully you paused the video. The next one's going to be called Stretch the Bump. So again, we got to create a new geometrical set. Oops, stretch. Oh, I was going to copy paste that, but I don't see that there. Stretch the bump. In real life, I don't want the spaces, but this is just for demo purposes. All right, so can you do the steps without without looking at the directions? It's bump, select the surface, my limit curve, just going right down this list. The deformation center, I use the pop point. Direction, I use this line. I created a distance of 1, preview. That's what we did last time. That's what the steps 1 through 9 were. And now we're going to stretch it. And there you have. You stretch it positive and negative values. This bump stretch says to go to 2 inches. So I will change it to 2. And there's your stretch bump. We'll hide this stretch. Create a new geometrical set. See what else I got in store for us here. We're going to do 3 more. Point, tangent, curvature. So we got steps 1 through 9 done. Stretch the bump. Now we're going to do point, tangency, and curvature. So you know what? I'm going to, well, I should have did that all in caps, but I'm too lazy to type that in. So you guys type it in caps for your demo purposes. Everything has to be in caps. Let's create, let's rename this point continuity. And we're going to select the bump. Again, unhide the join. Deform this surface, this limit curve, this point, this direction. I missed that point in this direction. And just go 1 for now. Show more parameters, and you see different types. So I want you to create each one, point, tangency, and curvature, to compare the difference. Preview that. We made that a distance of 3. I'm going to select OK just to get a better look at it. It will hide the join. You'll notice that this is a sharp transition from one to the next. Okay, and I'll change that distance from a 1 to a 3. And there you have it. You'll see the transition here immediately goes up. There's no tangency there. Just goes straight up at that point. Let's hide that one. Whoops. Let's create another geometrical set. Okay, we'll hide this one. Pull this back out of hide. I'll just leave that open so I can keep pulling out of hide. We're going to make the new one. Tangent continuity. And I'm just going to go ahead and make the other one while I'm at it. Rename that to this one here. Okay, so let's make this the in-work object. Do the bump. Select this surface, this limit curve, this point up here, this line. We'll go up 1 inch for now. Show parameters. We're going to change that to tangent. I'm going to select OK right now. Do you see the difference from this one to this one? Okay. A lot of times what I like to do is change the color. Just to make it a little bit easier to try and tell the difference from one to the next. Okay, so that's point continuity. I'll hide that. And this is what it looks like for the tangent continuity. You see the transition here, there's curvature. It's tangent blend from this flat surface going into this cone. And that's what tangent will get you. Okay, let's hide this. unhide this, and go back to my Word doc. So that's point continuity was 3 inches. I got 6 inches for curvature. I don't think I forgot to give you a distance for this one here. Oh, same distance as the model built in the point continuity. So we're going to go 3 inches as well. All right, so let me go back and unhide this. And change that to 3. Again, if I unhide that one, you see the difference between this one versus the last one I just created. All right, let's go compare that to curvature. Define and work object. Unhide the join. Bump this surface to this curve, this point to this line. I guess I'll go 3 and hit preview. And we're going to show more parameters, and we're using curvature in this one. Okay. Select OK to that. You see this transition? The curvature is a larger curve transitioning into that, which means that this is going to be more pointy at the top. To compare, okay, see how much more round this one is versus this one here. Okay, so this transition in this corner is going to be a bigger blend. So the transition here will be smoother, but the transition up here on the top will have to be more radical then. That is your comparison between point, tangent, and curvature. We finished this one off by being at 6. So I want you to make a snapshot of each one of those that you completed right underneath of this one to compare V5 to your 3D experience. So I got to change that to 6. I edited it to 6. You can see how much taller it is. Make sure you go into your view, ISO view, okay, and make those pictures for each one. I hope that helps you learn about what the bump feature does.